Hello, hello. Welcome to the Five Talents Podcast. I'm your host, Abel Pacheco. I interview the top commercial real estate investors and industry experts so you can learn from their experiences. So if you're an investor, a high W-2 earner, or real estate or tech sales professional that wants to invest in real estate without having to manage properties or leave your day job, then this podcast is for you. Or if you're already investing in real estate, but you're doing it part-time and you want to become a full-time multifamily or full-time commercial real estate investor, this podcast is for you too. You're going to learn a ton. You will learn from real-life multifamily investors and other professionals in the industry. They're going to share their blueprints for success, and I'm super excited that you're here. So I hope you enjoy the show. Hello, hello. Abel Pacheco here with the Five Talents Podcast, where we talk about multifamily investing, real estate investing, path to financial freedom, mindset, among other things. So I wanted to bring a very special guest. I'm super excited to have Mr. Javier Hinojo on our show. Javier, what's going on, man?
Hey, what's going on, Abel? Thanks for having me. It's a pleasure.
Yeah, thank you very much for joining. I'm super appreciative that, I got into your world, I don't know, maybe a year and a half or 2 years ago, and just have been learning from you through various different functions in real estate, and now you're in multifamily, so which is super exciting, and I'm happy, appreciative, humbled that you came on the show, man. So,
man, I appreciate it.
I see you wearing a mask. Where are you at right now? You're at an airport?
Yeah, I got my jock strap on. I'm at the airport. I'm in Lexington, Kentucky.
Oh man, looking at a
just
property.
my old high school jock strap. You gotta be efficient, right?
Hey man, you got to strap up. That's for sure. And that's awesome. Well, kudos to you for still getting out there, traveling, getting on the flights, on the plane and flights, and still looking at deals, man. So I know it takes a lot. Well, before we kind of dig in, let me at least explain to our listeners and viewers a little bit about you, and I'm gonna turn it over to you, so you can share your story. But man, I've heard your story. And I know that you're a high school push out, that's awesome to kind of, you phrase it that way. But when we really come down to it, man, you're a very experienced investor. You've done property acquisitions in Dallas, Austin, El Paso, Tampa, Raleigh-Durham. In the last 5 years alone, I know that you've done literally 100 plus, maybe 120, 130 plus properties that were all value add. You've got a lot of specialty that lies in property value add strategies and acquiring off market and distressed properties. That's kind of how I originally, came into your world and found out what you were doing. We met for our listeners and viewers, I met Javier at the first real estate education program that I joined. He was already a Hall of Famer there, the Rich Dad, Poor Dad, course or seminars. And that's where we met, man. I'm just super happy that, I went up to you and shook your hand and you were nice enough to say hello.
Hey man, I love the beard, man. That's what worked.
That's awesome, man. You also were sharing a story of mentors and coaches and how valuable they were to you. And I go, man, I got to find out who your mentor or coach was. And I ended up working with Marcus Ogden as well, and kind of followed that. I go, dude, I gotta hire him as a coach. He had a big impact on you. So anyways, Hall of Famer for the Rich Dad Poor Dad education program. But that was, a lot of single family stuff. And that's how I started. Yeah. And my listeners know that. But in the last 10 months, man, you've really transitioned hard. This last year, you have about 343 units now in multifamily. And so you've created a business. You've switched from single family to multifamily. And you got a director of acquisitions, a COO, IT systems, a few sales staff, an admin sales supervisor. Everyone's on salary. I mean, it's a real business, and property disposition and somebody to help you do 1099 analysis, all that kind of stuff, right? Man, tell us about the story. Tell us, about you and where you started, what you're doing now. That's awesome. All the stuff.
Hey, I left out my partner Moo. He's out in Houston.
Yeah.
So it's awesome. I live in North Carolina. He lives in Houston.
Yeah.
So we just see each other. You remember Moo? We only see each other. We only see each other 4 to 6 times a year. It's wonderful.
And he's your
so don't get tired of him. You don't get tired of me.
too funny.
My wife's like, hey, honey, how about we try that for a while?
Yeah.
I've been married 22 years, got 5 kids, man. So that's we left that out, but
Man,
I didn't put that in there.
congratulations.
5 kids.
Congratulations. 5 kids, and
Yeah.
still doing what you do. What are their ages? From what age to what age?
Oh man, I got from 9 to 25.
There you
So
go.
look, I'm actually 24 years old, but it looks like I'm 41 because I used to flip houses.
Mhm. A lot of them.
Uh,
So you aged pretty quickly,
yeah.
man.
Oh man, so a lot of brain damage. But hey, I can't knock it, man. I got friends that make a lot of money, and it makes a lot of money. It's great. It was my stepping stone, to a multifamily, and I know it might be a lot of from single family to multifamily. So I'm in that spot. 10 months ago, I just decided at the end of September, roughly, basically October. My wife and I were getting ready to scale our business. We wanted to do 200 transactions or flips, fix and flip a year, and we're getting ready to just take off. And I was at a mastermind after that weekend. I'm sitting next to a guy who was doing like wholesaling 1,000 properties a year. That's the New Western owner
Hmm.
from New Western. It
Wow.
was right to my right. I had no idea who he was, but he did a presentation, and I said, "Man, these guys are killing it." And I just really sat down and really thought about what I wanted, right? And I said, you know what? I really want to build wealth, and I want to build it efficiently, effectively. With cash flow and just long-term wealth, right? I didn't care to make, that $1 million active, investment. I mean, yeah, it was nice. I still want to make that, right? But I didn't want to trade a lot of my hours for actual just a paycheck, right? Because I just had a high-paying job.
Hmm.
I was getting ready to build it, make it its own business, running its own. But I know myself. I can't do too many things at once. So I just pretty much quit my single family, sold all my portfolio, pretty much let go all of my staff, and started from scratch.
Yeah. How
Yeah.
long did it take you to build to doing those 100-ish properties a year or whatever? How long did it take you from start to finish?
It took me about 3 years. The first 2 years, I didn't do very well. I did a pretty shitty job.
Yeah.
I wasn't a good flipper.
Hmm.
Um, so it was tough. I want to say I did about 20, maybe 25-ish, maybe the first couple of years. And then on the third year, I scaled it up.
Yeah.
We did like over 50, and they went on. And then I just stopped.
And these were a
Yeah.
lot of flips, not just
Yeah.
wholesale deals.
No, those are flips, right? I probably in 1 year I did like 88, something like that, wholesale deals. So
in in
we're
addition to the
yeah,
flips.
yeah, in addition to the flips, yeah,
Okay. A lot of brain damage, like you're saying, man.
yeah.
So how, and then in 10 months, you go from, that business to multifamily. And man, tell us about the multifamily side. Love to hear. That's a quick transition. Kudos on the
Yeah,
decision, and then quick
sure.
action, taking
Thank you.
it.
So a lot of people ask, hey, how do you do it? How'd you raise money? How'd you start? Same thing with single family, right? How'd you get your first deal? How'd you raise the money? When I got my first deal, I had to raise $15,000. I'm like, man, that's a lot of money. I never asked anybody for help, right? So I was, not because I was prideful. I just like to do everything on my own, figure it out before I try to bother anybody. That's just my personality. And last deal we closed, we had to, and it's not, it's just who you hang around with, your network. Really just work, right? Work and hustle. The harder you work, the luckier you get. That's one of my favorite sayings.
Yeah. Yeah, that's awesome. And so the way you found deals in single family, you're still applying the same in multifamily? Or what
Yes.
actually, what has applied to multifamily, and what is completely new in multifamily? That'd be probably a better question.
All right. So it's follow up for sure. Right. I don't know if I can say bad words on your podcast, but
You're
we
okay.
can bleep it out.
Be yourself, man. Be
All
yourself.
right.
Don't worry about it.
Don't be an asshole, right? Make sure you're trustworthy, likable, and don't lie, cheat, or steal. Right off the bat, if you do all those things, you're gonna do well at anything that you do.
Hmm.
So when you're talking to, homeowner, mobile home park owner, apartment building owner, or partner, et cetera, they feel that right away. right?
Mm-hmm.
They know if you're full of BS or if you come across as somebody you can close, as a good person.
Mm-hmm.
It's not just a straight up business transaction. Now, if you got a broker, it doesn't matter, right? For the most part. But if you're dealing directly, the broker's just trying to, you're trying to push a lot of different angles. So just to follow up, be persistent, always be on the phone. I didn't really change much. Just a different conversation, right? I'm not trying to buy $100,000 house. I'm trying to buy a $10 million property.
Yeah. Yeah. So for those listening, right, if you're a passive investor or a new general partner and you're trying to, kind of make sense of the world, right? Javier did like a ton of transaction. It's a ton of marketing work, mailers, flyers, calls,
Yes.
et cetera, to
Still,
generate
yeah.
somebody to call him and vice versa, or outgoing to pick up the phone and say, I'm interested in selling this house. Let me talk to Javier. So most of the time, or the bigger, I hear bigger deals in multifamily end up going through brokers. And so that's, you call a broker deals with the end user. And Javier has taken the same kind of strategy from single family and applied that same. So let's just talk there, like the very basics, like what does it mean to like build your marketing funnel, your funnel for potential multifamily properties, and how do you do that?
Yeah, for sure. You got to make phone calls, send mailers, email. The bigger properties, you're going to get into brokers. You can still get lucky and hit a partner, right? Because you're not going to have one person that owns 700 unit, right? It's going to be a group of people most of the time.
Mm-hmm.
But like 150 to below, you're going to find it could be one person, right?
Mm-hmm.
It can be one person owns 100 unit, 72 unit, 135 unit.
Mm-hmm.
It's more probable.
Mm-hmm.
So just got to do your marketing, right? Making phone calls, send your emails, send your mail. It's just being consistent. Like we closed on a 72 unit a few weeks back.
Mm-hmm.
And when we called them, I remember the conversation I had with my sales guy. He said, hey, when I called her, she said, hey, I get calls like this every single day, right? Every day. That's the first thing she said.
Wow.
Right. And but at the end she said, hey, but I like your tone of voice. I feel like I trust you. Like that was what she told him. Like, I like you.
Yeah.
Let's continue the conversation. Right.
Yeah.
So with that said, don't feel intimidated to call somebody if they've been called 10 times that week. Doesn't matter. At the end of the day, Abel and I can sit in front of somebody and make him the exact same offer, exact same everything. And he might just like Abel better, right? Maybe it's just the goatee, right? He just say, hey, I just like you better, all right? And he goes with him. So you don't really know what a seller has in mind. So
yeah.
Keep making the phone calls.
Yeah, that's awesome. And it was like, so for somebody new that I'm thinking, well, I want to, get some off-market properties too. I've read about it. I heard about it. I don't know where to start. Where do you even get a list of people that are, how do you actually go and scrub the data from your market and figure out your names and numbers? And how do I even go about that?
Sure. So there's a lot of sources you can pull lists from. Just Google, list pulls or data. There's a lot of different areas you can pull it. Then you got to cross-reference whatever you're looking for and do like a sample batch and track everything. You got to have KPIs, matrix. You got to track everything. Make sure you spend $1,000 here. What kind of results did you get? That didn't work. Spend $1,000 here. What kind of results? That didn't work, right? I've probably easily spent over 100K just in marketing and testing out stuff. And I don't mind. I actually enjoy that, right? I'd rather go that than buy myself a $100,000 car. I enjoy it. I think I know I enjoy it better.
Yeah, because you do it.
Yeah, because I do it, and it makes me money, right? It makes me money. You gotta know exactly where you get your stuff from, and there's a lot of services out there that provide that, and they can provide phone numbers. You go to CoStar. We have a CoStar account. There's a lot of these software that have commercial real estate, and they can provide some of that information, right? So the ones you can pull on your own that really nobody else is doing. Like I have an IT guy, a systems guy, IT guy, and his whole purpose when I brought him on was to say, hey, look, man, I have these crazy ideas. And I'm going to just I'm not extremely organized. I'm not very patient. I can't sit in front of an Excel spreadsheet. But I get an idea and I say, hey, how can I make this work, right? Make this, pull these numbers, these lists. Let me go try to find the owners of these companies and let me try to find their neighbor, their sister, their pastor, the parole officer, whoever it is, right? Let me find them. Let me find their IP. Whatever I can find so I can get in front of them.
Mm-hmm.
And then he'll take care of that. He'll just start building something out for me.
I love it. You
So,
got to get the right people around you, man. You
yeah.
got a great idea. I think you've figured that part out. You quickly built a legitimate business. It wasn't you on your own trying to get this stuff done, which I think is a fallacy, or, you know, just a mindset that a lot of people take. Oh, I'm going to go find this deal. I'm going to do the deal alone. You built a pretty legitimate company around your business.
Yeah, for sure. And you're okay. You know, if you got to pay your dues, if you're brand new, you got to pay your dues, right? Bring a deal, bring some money, go hustle, do something, whatever you can to bring value to somebody who's doing, who's already investing and wants, and you want to be where they're at. One thing about a team, it's the hardest part, right? It's once you get the good people, you got to keep them happy, make sure they don't go, you know, they don't quit, right? And don't be afraid of hiring people who are smarter than you, right? I think everybody in my company has a college degree. I was trying to check it the other day, and everybody does, except for me, right? Does that mean that they're smarter than me or not? I don't know. But 3 of the guys have like a finance degree and, you know, all this stuff. And I don't know, right? It's like, I don't have a degree, but they're super smart. You know, my sales guy is great. My director of acquisition is great. My COO is great. You know, my partner is great. You know, they all have, you know, if I was to do their job, I'd do terrible. I'd be terrible at it.
Yeah. Yep. That's a great mindset, because, you know, you recognize, hey, there are people that are better than me at something. And as opposed to being afraid to bring them into your business, you look at it from a different angle, which is, man, I absolutely will grow, scale. I'll be better for it. My company will be stronger. If you can let that guard, that fear down, you're going to have better people on your team. That's some, you know, you try to find people better than you.
Yeah. Yeah. George, my COO, he took a pay cut to come work for us. Right. And it was awesome. I mean, he's a perfect fit for a company. He's actually having a baby today, so he's off of work for the next, couple of weeks. Nice. And he was so ready when he was going to the hospital. He already had a pre-made email with all the things for us to do, you know, like sent, right? It was already drafted, send it to us, everything that we had to do already. At the end, it's like, hey, P.S., don't break anything while I'm gone. I'm like, oh, shoot. Like, hopefully I don't break nothing. So.
Yeah, keeping the operations together, man. I love it.
Yeah, don't break nothing.
That's awesome. Hello. You're listening to the 5 Talents Podcast. I'm your host, Abel Pacheco. If you're enjoying this podcast, then I know you're serious about achieving financial freedom. Are you ready to create your own path through multifamily investing for yourself and your family? Then I know you're going to appreciate our Investor's Guide to Multifamily Investing. It's titled Tackling Commercial Real Estate the Easy Way. We use this guide to invest ourselves in $93 million worth of real estate. So we're going to show you the basic mechanics of multifamily syndications and how to evaluate your next passive investment opportunity. So the best part, if you subscribe to our podcast now, leave us a review and a rating. I'm going to give you a free copy of our ebook. So please take a moment to do that now. Once you've done that, go to 5tcre.com/ebook, 5tcre.com/ebook. Make sure to let us know you left a review, and we're going to send you a free copy. So thank you so much for subscribing to the 5 Talents Podcast. We really appreciate it. So, hey, so you mentioned a number, which I think, you know, I'd love to dig in here, right? So some people say, oh, I'm going to go find an off-market property. And they think, I'm going to get a list. I'm going to pay a couple bucks, maybe. I'm going to start cold calling and whatever. It sounds very different than I'm going to spend $100,000. I don't know what period of time. Is that a year, or 100K over what period of time did you spend?
For the multifamily, I want to say I probably spent maybe 6 months.
Okay.
So it was a good amount. But you know, I kind of did the same thing with my single family.
So six,
right, to kind of figure it out. But you don't really need it, right? I went like all out. I probably spend money where I wasn't supposed to, which is okay. Yeah. And but at the end of the day, you know, you can do it on your own. You just got to be consistent. And all you got to do is just a little bit of action every day. Yeah. It was just myself, you know, like 3 or 4 years ago, making those phone calls, right?
Yeah. When you first started,
morning, lunch, yeah.
When you first started, what was like your monthly spend, and how did you spend it versus what you're doing today? I think this might help.
It was about $1,500.
Okay. So you had to pony up
Yep.
something, $1,500, and it was your time and effort. And today that 1,500 is more like, 100K over 6 months, 15 grand. And that's employees, people, staff, a system to create as many leads as possible. And you just view it as the same way as any other business. I need to have leads coming in the top of funnel. What's my conversion? What's my close? And what's my average, size, right?
Yeah, so that's my that would be the budget for the marketing side, right? Basically, in a business, there's a lot of different businesses in it, right? You got a sales business, you got a marketing business, right? You might have a disposition business, you might have investor side. I mean, there's a lot of different businesses inside of one, right? So that's like a budget for the marketing side, right? Then you have another budget for this side, this and this side. As long as you're making revenue. Now with multifamily, it could be a slow payday, right?
You waited 6 months to get a deal, right?
Yeah. But when you get paid, you get paid, right? So I just quit cold turkey, right? And I was blessed to be able to do it. I mean, it was I'm a risk taker. My wife asked me. I asked my wife first. So there's a tip for you guys out there. Yeah. Your spouse, your partner, significant other. Just make sure everybody's on the same page because it's hard enough already, and it's a lot harder if whoever you're living with does not support what you want to do.
There's probably one of the best nuggets I've heard so far right there.
Yeah.
I agree wholeheartedly, but keep going, man.
Yeah. So I told my wife, I said, hey honey, like, she looks at me and she goes, how long? That's the only thing she said. Like, how long do I need? I said, just give me 2 years. Give me 2 years. Right. And I'll say, and we're off and running. So.
Oh, that's great, man. So let's talk about it. You invested some time, 6 months go by, 100K budget. You're really hitting it hard. You find your first deal. Tell us about that first multifamily deal, and then just maybe walk us into today.
Sure. So the first one, like I made a decision. I'm gonna close an apartment building before the end of the year. That was last year. So I had basically 2 months, and I just networked a lot of people. Say, hey, what can I do? What can I do? I got a buddy of mine in South Carolina, Jennings, and he had an apartment building right outside of Charleston.
Jennings Smith?
Yeah, Jennings. Yep.
Oh, that's awesome. I interviewed him recently, but I didn't realize you guys were connected. But keep going, man.
Yes.
So South Carolina.
So I helped him out on that one. Say, hey, what can I do? I want to come along, and we got that 63 unit in Charleston. I think the all-in was 4.7. It should be worth about $7 million here in the next couple of months. They're doing very, very well with it.
Boom.
Boom. Right after that, a couple months later, we had 2 projects that fell through because of COVID. So that was a bummer. Yeah. They're still there, but they're just they're sitting there just getting just waiting on hold.
Same for us in March.
Yeah. And then we closed on a 72 unit. That thing was amazing. We closed on it at 1.3 million, and the as-is appraisal came back at 3.4-ish. Something like that. So that was
there we go.
Just instantly like that. It's a $2 million equity. That was amazing.
And so some people, before you keep going, I want to hear more about this, right? But some people originally would have said, I'm scared. I'm worried. I don't know if I can. I can't muster up $100,000 to invest. But if you start on the other side of that equation, if you told anybody, give me 6 months and 100K and I'll put $2 million in your bank account, would you do it? Everybody would say yes, without a doubt. They'd figure out to beg, borrow, cheat. I don't know about cheat and steal, but some people would cheat and steal. We would try not to do that, but you could figure out a way to get $100,000 pretty quickly if at the end result you're going to have $2 million equity in a property, and not everybody does it. So, man, that's kudos to you, man. Kudos to you. I'm sure there's some nuggets on your mindset in there too, but
yeah, for sure. I just kept getting properties under contract. I'm the guy that'll look at 400 properties a month to grab one, right? I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. I'm okay cycling so many deals. So now since I have a director of acquisition, he spends 40, 50 hours a week. That's all he does. We're making about 25 offers every week.
25 offers a week, 100 a month.
25.
Yep. Okay.
Yeah, roughly. And we're grabbing about, right now, I think we have 18 contracts, right? We have 18 contracts from everything from like a 20 unit to and a 10 unit mobile home park, a mobile home, multifamily, half of those won't close, and then the other half we'll end up selling to other investors, and then we'll close on 2 to 4.
Yeah.
Right. So out of those 18, we're going to buy 2.
Some people find it hard, even in single family, to make one offer.
Oh,
And
yeah.
some people go, I don't have the money. I can't make a second offer and a third offer. What happens if they say yes? And here you are, trying to get 400 new leads, converting 100, maybe calls ish, and then 25 offers a week, 100 a month.
Yeah.
And then a lot of those are saying yes. You've got 18 of them under contract. Like, how does that even work? So somebody who has no idea how this thing works, and they're thinking, dude, I could never do that. Where does he get all the money? Do you need all the money for that? Like, just walk us through that mindset. Just help somebody right now.
Sure.
Demystify this.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, for sure. So it starts from the beginning, right? Who's doing the negotiation? Who's your salesperson? If you're going to spend money on marketing and you suck at closing, don't be on sales.
You're wasting your money, right?
Go partner with somebody that can close. Okay. So I don't hire people anymore because I'm just too nice, and I'll hire the wrong people, and I keep them on too long. So I just have somebody hire people for me, and I just pay them their fee. I got a good buddy, Scott Hannes. He'll just say, hey man, I'm looking for this person. I just talked to him today. Say, hey man, I need a construction manager, project manager. I need you to go find them, right? And pay him their fee, and he goes through all the headache of trying to find the right person. But if you got a good salesperson right up front, right? You get a property under contract, maybe send an LOI. Now you have 7 days to negotiate a contract, and once you get the contract, your due diligence deposit or escrow deposit, your escrow or earnest money deposit, is not due until you have all these documents, right? And it's like 185,000 documents that I need, right? So, a lot of these people just sign the contract. They don't even read it. Right? Some people are like, I can't give you that. I can't give you that. But still, by the time that I have all the documents and I got to give my earnest money deposit, it's been like 3 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
By that time, I've seen the property. We've got some other financials. We already know we want it or not. Mm-hmm. So on that side, you don't have to spend any money trying to give out a 10K, 20K, 50K earnest deposit. Because man, I've had 100K plus easily, just sitting in escrow that we're not even buying, just waiting for it to get back.
Yeah.
It kills your cash flow. But you have time to buy, right? Just to go out there, look at it, and try to raise some money, try to get some interest. It sucks because if you back out for the seller, but if it's a decent project, you'll find the money, right? So you get something out of contract. I don't want to call everybody. I'll call myself a dog, okay? I'm like that dog that chases that tire, and you catch it, and like, what the hell do I do with it? It turns you around and smacks you on the ground, right?
Oh,
So,
I love it.
Right, go find somebody who's caught that tire, right? You got a contract, right? If you're in Texas, you got Abel there, wherever you're at, network. Ask somebody, go to Facebook group, right? Hey man, who's in Lexington, Kentucky, right? That's where I'm at right now, and I got like 3 people here that I know on my network, right? And I said, hey, I need boots on the ground, and I'm in with a buddy of mine. He just sold his veterinarian business for like $8 million. He's like, man, I got $8 million since 3 weeks ago. I'm like, yeah, I don't think there's room for you. No, I didn't say that. But he lives 45 minutes from here, right? And it's just, you just got to keep networking and keep posting. You follow people, post on people's, just network, right? You find a good project, don't worry about it. You'll find somebody to sign your loan. You'll find somebody to raise some money, and and whatever you got to do to make it happen, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's the best. I think that's the best way. If you can't sign on loans, if you can't put money in a deal, go raise money, go find something, go be boots on the ground, go offer to make phone calls for somebody for free or something. I don't know. There's really no excuse. And if you got money and you can sign, oh man, you definitely no excuse. I'm like, hell no.
There's no excuse there, right?
There's no excuse.
I will tell you all of this mindset, as you're talking, it's like, there's no excuse. That's a big difference between many of the people that we saw signed up for the same program we did, spent $50,000 plus on some education and classes. And I went to one class and the second class and the third class, and we traveled, all the way around the US and going to all these different, 12, 13 different cities. Right. And I'm like, why aren't those same people that we signed up with here today? I don't understand. They dropped the same coin I did
Yep.
and they're not here. It's hard to take action for a lot of people, but if you can figure that out, then you're going to have massive opportunities for success. You just got to be hungry enough and kind of willing to do that. And Javier, your mindset, I heard it more than a couple of times, was, man, there's no excuse. And a lot of people put up a lot of excuses. I mean, they just do, right? So if you can figure out how to get through it, like Javier, you're going to have success on the other side. So I really like the analogy to someone who's caught the tire, right? Probably the same vigor, the same amount of perseverance to go find deals you've applied on the other end to find partners, people, networking that are doing deals today, right?
Yes, correct. So you keep continue to network, partner, make connections. We got 208 unit in Tulsa, Oklahoma, and again, I partnered with Jenny Smith, right? I said, hey guys, let's help us raise some money, help us do some asset management. And man, he killed it, right? I mean, we raised, 2.3 million, right, in a couple of weeks.
Mm-hmm.
And you just got to keep building the relationship because, you might need somebody for anything, right? Everybody's willing to help you, right? As long as, again, the golden rule, right? Don't be an asshole. That's probably, it's got to be written somewhere, right?
It's probably written somewhere, man.
I'm going to go to Greece one day and it'll be like, somebody's sculpture out there.
Etched in stone.
There you go.
Yeah.
But yeah, just keep networking, just keep networking, talking to people, and don't be scared, right?
Yeah.
Don't be scared because you know what? The dragons are not as big as you think anyways. Look, man, I've there's this book. It's my favorite book in the world. It's actually what got me to jump into multifamily, because maybe to myself, I thought, hey, that's going to be like a big step. But at the end of the day, the problems that you see are really not a problem, right? I remember I crashed my dad's car when I was like 14. I backed up and I hit it. And I took off. I was going to Blockbuster. I was 14. Going to Blockbuster to rent some movies, right? I'd never driven in my life. And I was dying to tell my dad, right? Like, man, I hit the car, until I just agonized about it for like 2 days. And I just came out and said it, and it wasn't that bad, right? It was actually worse. I thought it was less than my own imagination.
Yeah, for right? 2 days. Yeah.
Yes, for 2 days I just killed myself, right? The inside, just in the turmoil. It was like I couldn't sleep, it was terrible. So it just with anything, the dragons aren't as big as you think they are. And I take that from a book that I read. It's about a 16-minute read. It's got a lot of pictures, so I love it.
Which book is that? Man? Which one is
called,
it?
I'm like, hey, look, it's Mickey and the Dragon, and my 6-year-old niece is like, it's Mikey and the Dragon. Oh yeah, it's Mikey and the Dragon. So that shows you how much I read. So it's called Mikey and the Dragon by that Navy SEAL guy that does the podcast, Joko or something. I forget his last name.
Yeah,
but he's this big dude. And
the extreme ownership guys, right?
Yeah, and he did this book, and it's amazing. He just basically talks about how the dragons aren't. It's about a little boy who's like 7 years old, but you can take it to you. It could be 80, doesn't matter. And that's honestly, that's the only book I've ever read in my life.
Hey, so tell me, man, the only book you've ever read in your life. I know there's some, there's something to share around this, right? Your first, $1 million, reading, book, education, all that stuff, man. Just share anything you want to around this portion. You said high school push out, like, man, give us some insight for those that think, oh, I can't do it. Like, I don't know. The floor is yours, man.
Look, when George comes back, my CO, when he comes back from having his baby, I'm going to tell him he has to read 4 hours a week. That's part of his job description, right? I want him, he can read for me and just give me the gist, right? Because with my personality and my attention span, if I read something I can read it 8 times, I'm going to forget 95% of it, in an hour, and the other 4% in the next week. Right. So but you know what? I'm not saying reading is great, right? It's great. And I know if I would have probably read more books, I would have made a lot more money, because now that I start reading here and there, I'm like, damn, I made that mistake like 8 times. If I would have read this book, I wouldn't have made it. But at the same time, if I wouldn't have made it, it wouldn't have been seared inside me, like in my brain, like I screwed up, right? Like, danger, don't do that anymore. I learn more by doing than by like reading. I'm just not that reading type of person. So the first $100 that you made, right? Just remember the first $100 you made, maybe you were 14, 13, whatever 18 when you got your first job, right? The second $100 became super easy. I remember the first time you made 10 grand, right? How about the next 10 grand? How easy was that? First time you made 100 grand, right? How easy was it to make the next 100 grand?
Mm-hmm.
When you made $1 million, you're like, damn, that's not a lot of money. You make $1 million, you're like, it's not a lot of money. It really is not. So it gets easier and easier. So I'm gonna write a book, and I probably won't read it.
I love it.
But I'm gonna
write
it. I'm gonna write it, and I'm gonna call it, how I made $1 million before ever reading the book. Right? That'd be my title. Anyways,
I'd buy that book.
I don't even know.
Just off the title, man. Just
Yeah,
off the title, I'd definitely buy that book, man.
But either way, man. I mean, reading books is great. I mean, there's a lot of people out there that do great things, that read all the time, and man, that is awesome. I mean, that is great. For me, it's super hard for me to focus, and I know I can do it. And I'm just giving myself an excuse. But again, I'll let my COO read them, and I'm the visionary. He's the implementator, and we'll go from there. Hey, look, if I could outsource arguing with my wife, I would do it. Just have somebody argue with my wife. At the very end, say, honey, I love you. You're right. And order her some flowers. And that would save me like 20 minutes of my life, So.
That's awesome, man. If you could, you would, but you're stuck with that one, man. Good luck on it too, man. Yeah. There's for those listeners that are, viewing or listening right now, there's a book called Rocket Fuel. And I think you guys would like it to be reading. And, basically what I hear is that Javier applied some of that very same, logic, which is, hey, somebody's a visionary, which is Javier. This is where we're going. This is what we're going to go do. I'm not exactly sure how we're going to get it done. But if I hire the right person, somebody smarter, somebody that can implement, somebody that can execute it, I'm going to drive the direction, the vision, and I need you guys to go implement it. And that's what that book really talks about.
Yeah,
is you're putting into practice. You just figured it out on your own, man.
Yeah, the first one was Traction. The next one was Rocket Fuel.
And you have read a couple books. You've read a couple books now, right?
Hey, I skimmed through them. Like when I read, when I was 22, I'm like, I don't care. Let's just go. Just tell me where the meat is. I just want to give me the meat. You can leave 80% of the book out. Just tell me what I need to do.
I like the fact that you pay your COO and then tell them, hey, you're gonna go read these books. I heard they were good. Give me the summary. How do we apply it? That's awesome, man. Well, before I have a couple more questions before I let you go, man. I want to make sure I take advantage of the time. But before you do that, let me make sure I hit. If somebody wants to get into your world, they want to, learn more, they want to invest with you, they want to do, you partner with you in the future, whatever the case may be. How do I get into your world? What's the best way to reach out to you?
You can follow me on Facebook, Javier Hinojo. I think I'm only my dad and myself have that name. So you'll find me or my dad. Follow my dad. Or my first name, right? It's Javier, and you can email me, Javier at ascgus.com, which is All States Capital Group. Just feel free to email me there if anybody has any questions.
All States,
concerns. All States Capital Group.
Here we go. That's a good name. So I'll put those in the show notes, and you'll have the ability to link to it. So all that good stuff will be there. But before we kind of wrap up, right? There is those couple of deals that you found. You're traveling right now, so you don't have to give us the specifics on this deal, but man, you've gotten several hundred doors that you're in now. You're partnering with more. You've created a repeatable, systematic process where you can go apply this thing again and again and again. And which is really the highly valuable part, because no matter what happens, win, lose, or draw, now you can the pattern is very repeatable. So what are your next goals? Where are you headed? From now and then maybe the next 6 months or maybe a year. Where do you have plans to keep hitting?
Hey, look, so I feel like I'm at 35% efficiency, right? So I know there's so much more growth that can happen. A lot of tweaking. So the base is good, right? So the base is good. We're getting our deal flow. We're getting our lead flow. Everything's good. At the same time, I'm moving forward, but I'm still tweaking, right? So I'm always tweaking, trying to make the systems better. Guys make systems better. I'll bring some ideas and I get the feedback. Look, I bring an idea. It's an idea, but the processes are like, man, this is garbage. So they make that better, right? So it works perfect, right? It works perfect. Still traveling out, trying to just keeping the deal flow coming in, right? You've got deal flow coming in, money flow coming in, you can close. Even in these times now, even the next 6 months, we buy a little more distressed properties than stable properties. Just throughout the network, we come across some stabilized properties that we can partner up with somebody like you that, buy a little more stable, a little nicer, a little prettier kind of properties, and we can still take stuff down. So I got enough deal flow for that. So that's coming up here in the next 6 months. But, we got 2 under contract right now that we really want to buy. One here in Kentucky. It's a 100+ unit. The owner's going to carry some of it, which is great. And then I have a 116 lot mobile home park, city water, city sewer, that we have under contract as well in South Bend, right by Notre Dame. So, and it's going to be an owner carry as well. And, so as soon as I'm super close to that, I know we're going to buy those, I need to hire a construction project manager, because then that'll be 4 projects that we're doing at the same time. That's not my time well spent, because I do the construction management. Why? Because I'm Hispanic? I don't know, man. Like, I'm the only Hispanic, in the group. And I'm like, just because, I'm from Texas originally, it doesn't mean that, West Texas and families in Mexico.
Baby. South Texas.
Yeah, it's like, it doesn't mean I like construction. And they're like, well, you got a general contracting company with a license in 17 states. I'm like, I should have kept my mouth shut about that.
Oh, that's too funny, man.
But anyways, but moving forward, man, just 1,000 units by the end of the year would be great. My buddy Jenny Smith put that on my Facebook page, so you push me. I love that. Hang out with people that'll stretch you. Hang out with winners. So when you're winning, it doesn't sound like you're bragging. I love that saying. So we're super excited that we raised $2.3 million. My buddy Jordan sitting next to me. He's been drinking. He goes, "Oh yeah, I raised that yesterday. I raised $6 million yesterday." I'm sitting there like, holy crap, man! I was feeling good about myself, but I'm happy for you. But he stretched me, right? I see it. I don't see it as he's showing off. He's just winning, right? And
he's winning.
I'm his friend. Like, hey, yeah, man, let's win. Let's win together. So the goals are, long term. I mean, we got our 10-year, 5-year, 3-year goals. Change all the time, right? You got to adapt. You got to be adaptable. It's one of our core values. You got to adapt to the situation. So we're going to hit a lot of the property owners we talked to. We're going to throw in there some owner carry, right? Makes it easier on the acquisition side.
Heck yeah.
And on the money raise. So, and a lot of them are open for it. It's actually not that hard.
So let's, on the last few questions here before the time runs out, you've got a good background for creative financing. And one of the benefits of finding true off-market properties where you're talking to the seller directly is you can get more creative, as opposed to working with a broker that, wants to deal with a buyer that can, pay the thing off, right? And they get paid. So what is that for those that are like really uninitiated? What is owner finance? What is carry, seller carry? And what does that mean for the acquisition, and why does it get easier, and why is it easier for capital raise?
Well, first of all, if you're going to get a loan, and it's tough to get a loan for that particular property, because say it's at 65% occupancy, right? It's going to be a challenge to get a bridge loan. But if he's willing to even carry 30%, 20%, 40% of the whole project, say he doesn't owe anything on it, there's your down payment, right? And then the lender is going to give you the rehab. So out of your pocket, you have zero money. So how much of that will you own? How much will you own of the whole project? You'll own like 100%, right? Well, if you got a partner, you're 50-50.
Yeah.
Right? If you got maybe boots in the ground, you give them some equity. Mm-hmm. But if you don't have to raise any money or anything like that, you own a big chunk of that deal. Huge. That's game changer.
It's game changer. And in most syndications, for those listening, most syndications where you're giving away a good piece of the pie for the investors that are raising the capital. And if the owner gives you the piece, then you're like, okay, well, I don't have to split it. But okay, sorry to interrupt. Keep going.
Yeah, no, that's good. Great point. It'll carry a little mortgage, but you just got to be a little bit careful in some states. Because there can be there could be a lawsuit or something and you don't know about it and you can be liable. So there's a lot of different things that come to every single deal. But just in general, if you can get some owner carry, it definitely helps you on the raising side. And a lot of these owners will carry it for 3, 4, 5, 6%, right? If you're going to get a bridge loan at 8% interest, you're saving some money.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So,
Yep. And that's kind of like core to your, I guess the buying or the offer process is you're trying to figure out, hey, can I get some piece of this, which makes it way more profitable. You get a bigger piece of the deal, and there's your $2 million equity. If somebody's trying to figure out, well, how did that, deal that was kind of smaller from a syndicate, how did it turn into 2
yeah.
million equity? There's your picture. That with the value add. Right?
Yep. Yeah, that's right. Yep. And on the last one that we bought, that was a nice $2 million equity, and we still have to do some value add to it. Right, we're going to put in about $500,000. It'll be worth about 4.7. Right, when we're sitting down, we'll be all in for 2 million. It'll be worth over 4.5 easily.
Yep.
So I mean, that right there, if you do it the right way, look, I don't mind sharing. If everybody's making money, everybody's happy. The partners, the investors, but I own a good chunk of that. I don't know, 30-40% of that project. Right.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Mm-hmm.
Of the whole project, not of the GP side.
Yeah.
That's because you can negotiate some good terms. As long as you can negotiate some good terms, then you're good,
Yep. Well, there's a little demystified right there for anybody, trying to come in and trying to say, whoa, man, how do I do this? How do I call someone? How do I operate? And then you get a bunch of deals. Do I have the courage to make an offer and then disposition and then, not even disposition, buy it, acquire, and then raise the money and capital. And man, that was amazing, Javier. I think you definitely demystified that process a little bit. So, is there anything I didn't ask during our time? Anything that you wanted to highlight? Anything I didn't cover that you think would be valuable, or highlight your business, something you're working on? The time is yours. As much time as you want.
Oh yeah, appreciate it. I just we have a lot of properties across the country that we get under contract. So if anybody's out there looking for something in particular, I mean, it's hard for me to find something for somebody, but we have a buyer's list and we can send everything out to them. Like, hey, I got a 20 unit, we got a 47 unit, we might have a mobile home park, and we're slowly going to different asset classes. I don't want to do too much because I like to focus. But if we partner with the right folks that know how to do warehouse, we'll do warehouse, right? We'll find it, we'll acquire it, we'll get under contract, we'll come in, get a smaller piece, and they can run the whole thing. So not just multifamily. You don't have to do everything on your own, right? Just make sure you have the right people on your team, and you allocate your time as well. So anybody out there that looking to buy some off-market properties, we got some. We got a pretty good deal flow. Maybe something out there that you guys like. So. That's probably about it.
Yeah.
Besides the fact, if you guys want to join one of our projects, feel free to reach out as well. At any time, I'll give you some case studies on everything, on some that we've done in the past.
Yeah. If you've caught the tire before in your market, then reach out to Javier so that way you can tell him what you're ready to catch, and he may be able to land it. And then I do have a lot of people that reach out to me now that say, "Hey, I'm sourcing, off market multifamily properties." And I always kind of ask, a few questions. I want to know, what they've done and what they do. You're like my measuring stick. I'm like, are you real, or are you just, shuffling paper? Javier Hinojo is one of those real guys that's doing it, man.
Yeah. So 99.9% of our contracts we'll be the contract holder. Every once in a while, I get a friend and say, "Hey, look, I got this under contract. Can you help me sell it?" And I'll put it on there like, "Hey, sure. I got this contract from my buddy Joe, and I'm just sending it out to you guys. Right? Yep. You need to get a hold of him. Call him. Don't call me because I don't know anything about it." Yeah. So I'll do that. I'll do that for somebody. Yes. But there's no daisy chains here, man. Those things are such a waste of time.
Yes, sir.
What a waste of time.
That's awesome, man. Thank you very much. For everything, Javier, you've given us some good insight and good wisdom and something to action on if you're looking for some properties. So I thank you very much, and I appreciate it. Appreciate all the time, man.
Abel, man, it's nice to be here. I'm humbled as well. Just to give me the invite, and I know you're doing great things as well. You're out there working every day, and you're putting deals together. So I'm happy for you as well.
Oh man,
so I'm very happy for you.
Yeah,
So reach out to Abel too, guys out there. You guys out in Texas, out down that way. Reach out to him.
Yeah, absolutely. You can go to 5tcre.com. There's our website. If you want to, learn more about being a passive investor, we just wrote a new ebook that should be out by the time this podcast hits. So you can register on our website. We can give you that. Giving away for free, at least in the start. We'll see how popular it gets, and then you'll have that. And then go to our website. A lot of education, a lot of webinars. These podcasts will be out there. And if you heard something that provided value today, which I know you heard more than a few nuggets, but if you would be so kind, take a moment, go to our podcast, leave us a 5-star review, give some feedback for me, for Javier, let us know, good, bad, indifferent. We would love to hear it. And we really appreciate your time. So this is Abel Pacheco with the 5 Talents Commercial Real Estate Podcast, and appreciate your time. Javier, thank you, man. Thank you, brother. Thank you for listening to this episode of the 5 Talents Podcast with your host, myself, Abel Pacheco. Each week, we're going to bring you interviews from industry experts and commercial real estate investors who follow their dreams and achieve massive success. Before you leave, let me ask you a few questions. Did you enjoy this episode? Did you learn something valuable? Was your mind stretched to what's possible and what you can achieve? Do you want other experts just like the one you heard today? If you answered yes to any or all of those questions, then please take a moment to subscribe to the 5 Talents Podcast, give us a 5-star rating, and most importantly, leave us a written review. Tell us what you liked, tell us your favorite guest, give us any feedback. I'm excited to learn and improve so you can get a more valuable show. So thank you again for subscribing to the 5 Talents Podcast.